Yeah.
Hello,
Recording in
everybody.
recording
Whoa.
in progress. All right. I now declare this podcast begun. Yes. By the power of Peacock. See that?
Whoa. The power of
That's
Peacock.
the
Wait,
power
Peter,
of Peacock.
let me grab something and
Yes.
we're gonna double peacock it.
Okay, double peacock. That sounds like a bit of a dirty maneuver if you ask me, folks. GK, come here. Double peacock. Hide, GK, quick.
This we got this by the power of Peacock invested in the both of us.
The
This
power of
podcast,
Peacock.
the power of Peacock. This podcast has started.
I think that might be our name right there, the power of Peacock.
Power
Yeah,
of Peacock. Okay. That could
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, Peter,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so the people know us a little bit, but some people don't. Let me hear your
Wait
best.
a minute. What people?
What
is
people? Oh, I guess the
there
people,
anyone here? Yeah,
that would
yeah.
be funny. I would love
Yeah,
for that.
the people see we're speaking it into existence, right? Uh,
Yes.
the people that will manifest, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Peter,
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to the breathwork blueprint, one of like the midweek calls. Peter
Mm-hmm.
Skuzzabot, who are you?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yes. Well, you know how our teacher says he's the expression of Breath Army? I'm the expression of Skuzzabot. And the Skuzzabot is the recycled art spirit. So originally that was a garbage can that people put paint in, old paint, you see, and the potential that was still in the cans because the paint was still there. Nothing wrong with it, if you ask me. That potential to make art is what unlocked the spirit of creativity. So when I found that paint in the garbage, I liberated it and gave it new life. So Skuzzabot can mean giving new life to old dead things. Skuzzabot can be the compost that recycles things and recreates them. Skuzzabot can be anything.
I'm
Yeah,
catching your drift. I'm catching your drift.
catching it.
I'm catching the spirit of Skuzzabot.
Yeah, so now that you and I are in this breathwork course, now this is 20 years ago that I made this up. Now, being in the breathwork course, I look at it again and I learn that spirit means also the breath of life, spirit, to breathe in, inspiration, right? So breath is spirit. And what is recycling? In and out in a circle, breathing it in the air and breathing the air out. So not only is Skuzzabot the recycled art spirit, but now it is also a symbol of breath work, right? Recycling breath and using the art of breathing. We are learning the art of breathing to heal myself, yourself, and to share with all of our friends and family, and to do all the healing I think we can do. Yeah, so a vehicle, a pigment vehicle. Skuzzabot is a vehicle. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Skuzzabot is the
And
vehicle.
I don't need a license to drive this puppy, right? I just pull out, blaze in a trail that no one's ever been blazed before. So who
Yeah.
are you? Who is Jackson?
Yeah.
Young
So
Jackson.
who is young Jackson? Young
Yes.
Jackson young Jackson is still figuring himself out in the world. Young
Mm,
Jackson is now, that's how do I phrase this? Young Jackson is allowing spirit to flow and help create him and allowing
mm,
himself to find his place in the world. Through
mm,
now, I've been learning about the power of breath to go and go through life. I've been
mm,
learning, what have I been learning? I've been learning the power of cold exposure. I've been learning the
mm,
power of community. And I've been really learning about the power of connection and how you can use them all together in a way to go and create it all together.
mm-hmm.
So with
The
that,
cold connection.
the cold connection. Yes.
Yeah.
You can do the
Uh-huh.
cold, you can connect in the cold. You can do
Mm-hmm.
one or the other. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like ice cream with a cherry on top. You can have your ice
Ooh.
cream with the cherry on
Mm-hmm.
top. You can have your cherry. You can have your ice cream.
Mm.
Or if you're feeling crazy, you just
Mm.
mix it all together.
Yeah, you know what I think, because I haven't got any people to come to the cold exposure ice bathing workshop we're supposed to do for our homework.
Mhm.
So what if we offer free ice cream? So you go cold dipping and you come out and you get a free ice cream. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the body's just craving the heat, so you're like, I'm gonna give it the cold.
yeah. Well, the sugar, right? The
Oh, I
sugar will
guess the
make you
glucose.
the sugar. It'll make you fat and warm you up, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and I mean it's just a comfort food.
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. You know what I gotta do though? You know what? You gave me a great idea. I gotta make some of those magic s'more d'oeuvres after the cold dip.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so tell us your recipe for s'more d'oeuvres.
So s'more d'oeuvres, it's a recipe in progress, and I'll tell the
Mhm.
original recipe, but every time there's a breathwork retreat, it gets a new iteration. So
Oh.
s'more d'oeuvre comes from the broken s'more. It comes
Mm-hmm.
from the celebration cracker and the marshmallows, and the celebration crackers being all crumbled up.
Oh.
And when they're all crumbled up, I was thinking, well, what if we just put it on top of the marshmallow and put it underneath and just make it like a cake? So
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
it's like a s'more that's like an hors d'oeuvre. So it's a s'more
Mm-hmm.
d'oeuvre. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
get, but now if you want to make it good and make it a little bit more healthier, or so that more people can eat it, you use the vegan marshmallows that you get at Nature's Fair. They still taste
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then you can use graham crackers, but if you want to take to the next level, you can get the gluten-free graham crackers with the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then the secret ingredient is cacao.
Mm. Mm.
You sprinkle some cacao on top. It's like a nice sprinkle dust shaving. You can put it inside the s'more d'oeuvre. You can put it around it. You can dust it on top. And then boom,
Mm.
your veins are dilated, your arteries
Mm.
are, and you're flowing with mother cacao.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's up, crumbled up? Yeah. You see, that's kind of a Skuzzabot philosophy right there, is using the crumbs, but making the crumbs, bringing those crumbs back together into, a work of art, you see? So,
Yes.
so you're Scuzza too.
I'm scuzzing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scuzzing. Scuzzing my cousin.
We're scuzzing it up. And I think to go with this, Peter,
Hmm. Yes.
you got the GK. You got the Dr.
Yeah.
Scuzzoni. You have
Mm-hmm.
the Skuzzabot, and
Mm-hmm.
you are the embodiment of Skuzzabot. So talk to
Mm.
me a little bit about what it's like storytelling and what it's like putting those
Ah.
all together and learning the art
Mm.
of the performance.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd bring it back to the word spirit again because, you know, uh, we I feel that we are these vessels, conduits, as our teacher would say, the hollow bone, for spirit. So I've become from being an only child, you see, living in my imagination, a lot of time alone, right? I've just allowed that spirit of story and imagination to just flow through me. These things aren't working. I'm going to take these off.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I can't quite hear you right now, Peter. Oh, Peter, I can't quite hear you. Maybe you have to disconnect it from Bluetooth? Not yet. We're just doing some troubleshooting. We'll go back to it. I'll make some music in the meantime. Bum, bum, bum. bum, 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 bum. Take a breath in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
How do I
In.
hear you?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Whoa.
Right.
It was the
Okay.
breath that brought it together.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. That wasn't too bad.
No.
So, story?
Story. So when you were talking about the art of performance, you're talking about spirit, you're talking about bringing it all together, you're talking about especially growing up as an only child, learning the art of performance,
Mhm.
bringing that together.
Yes, yes. So I think that's another great representation of Skuzzabot is that I've used this symbol, the Skuzzabot symbol, and this is the vessel to bring all those different things together. Because as creative people, I can speak for all the creative people in the world. We think laterally. We don't just focus on one idea and go boom. We spread, like one idea leads to another idea, and it just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading. And it is hard to focus on one thing. And so my whole life, I've just been, but now I've learned to bring those mycelial threads together and to make the mushroom called Skuzzabot. It's also a mushroom, did you know? So
Wow.
yeah, so it's taken a long time of chaos and insanity in my head of all these different ideas. Everything is animate, everything speaks to me, everything wants to come out, but I have to choose. And choosing that has been the hardest part of my life is choosing one path as an artist. So I've had to create this Skuzzabot as an umbrella. It's also an umbrella to be that arch, that arch to hold those pillars. And gee whiz, it's a handful, man. But when I learned to surrender and just accept my imperfection, it's starting to calm down the insanity. And so the stories they bubble up, and I do my best to let them give them life. Skuzzabot is also a cauldron, a bubbling cauldron.
That it
Yes,
is.
yeah,
Yes.
and
So with the umbrelling, what was it like for you to say when you did find, say, one modality that say worked for you? What was it like trying to commit to it? Like for instance, or this is a good question. With art, do you find like that's like one thing or was that like always an umbrella?
oh,
Always.
it was always a ton of things. Always, I tried to focus on the spray painting, the graffiti, the street art, but you know, I never could. I was doing clay, sewing, drawing, all sorts of things. But I really find it all comes together the best in making a video or where I can make a costume, I can do a background, and I can paint things in the background and orchestrate it all together. Uh, so storytelling through the medium of video, theater, I think is a good combination. But there's no way I can do one thing. I've never been able just to do one thing. I think some people call that there's acronyms where they try and go, I have this acronym, I have that acronym. I don't believe in those designations for mental illnesses. No, no, no. It's just the way I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how about you?
Ooh,
Yeah,
so for me,
yeah.
with like storytelling for me and
Sorry.
learning like the arts of expression, To me, that really started to mainly come through in my life when I wanted to stand out. I spent a lot of time when I was younger. I was part of a lot of just sports teams. I was like team, and I was just a member of the team. And I wanted to be a member of the team. I didn't necessarily want to be like Jackson or this person. I just wanted to be part of the team. And then for me, it really started to hit when I played a lot of badminton. And I went from, I want to take this badminton and I want to be known as not just another badminton player. I want to be known as Jackson, the badminton player. Or for,
Jackson, the bad man.
oh, the bad man. Or my Instagram account at the time, Kurtz Badminton. Kurtz the
Oh,
bad man.
yeah. Putting
So I had
Kurt.
to, yeah. So I had to find a way to express that and show myself and create with that and allow myself to go against the grain and stand out and finding that way. And then through there, it kind of opened like a Pandora's box of how can I express? Where do I want to express? How does
Are
it
we,
feel to express?
are we still talking about badminton?
It's transitioning out of badminton.
Okay.
So when I was in badminton, like I went and I started to transition out of badminton. Like I found a way to like get in the community. I found my way to stand out. And then it kind of bubbled where I was like, well, badminton wasn't for me. And then I went in and I was like, where do I want to express next? And I didn't have that for a while. And I would just try things. I tried bouldering. I tried I tried university. I tried playing more video games than I probably should. And then I found breathwork and I was like, whoa. And now it's learning to express through breath or just express through whatever calls to me. And now even like making making the expression flow through breath. Like I know I see you do a great job. You had like the breath army bowl. That was a beautiful thing. You have your beautiful videos where you had your presentation background and you were talking about it, or your Dr. Skuzzoni, and is learning to like put yourself through with what you want to do and say under that umbrella. So right now, breath might be the umbrella, but it could branch out to say cold exposure. And next thing you know, it was like s'more d'oeuvres was an umbrella. And now it's like putting it all under one big umbrella that I'm still expanding on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a nice image. An umbrella that just keeps expanding, eh? You're
Yeah.
walking down the street, you got your umbrella, and people are like moving, trying to get out of your way. The umbrella just keeps expanding them, and you're knocking old ladies into the sidewalk, the gutter, getting them wet. It's people getting hit by buses, you know. Yeah, Jackson the bad man.
Jackson
Bus.
the bad man busting out the umbrella.
I think what really has seemed to be a good look on you is the cold exposure. You seem to have really taken to that.
Yeah, so that's been something very interesting. It started where I took cold showers in high school, but I stopped doing them for I don't know why. I think it was during COVID and I just didn't want to. And then I joined a community called Cold Dip Kelowna and I really enjoyed it. And then there was a chiropractor who reached out to me, well, who I met, who was interested in breath work, and he wanted to help start a cold dip community. And I said, sure, I will help you join that. And so I was between the two, and then Cold Dip Kelowna invited me to help lead. And so through that, it was the act of when I'm leading for people, I need to show people that it's possible. I need to lead from example and embodiment. Just like our teacher says, oh, what did he say? Anyway, it was something about embodiment, which you really just need to own and talk from expression.
I know what he said.
What did he say?
Are we allowed to swear on here?
Yes.
He said, "Talk is cheap, motherfuckers."
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And so you hear that, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to lead people, I got to do the dip.
Yeah.
So I did the dip, and then we did cold hikes. And I was like, I'm going to do the cold hike.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just showing people that it's possible, and I'm allowing myself to express and emote through that. I get in the water, I think of a topic that comes to my mind, I hit record, and I stop when I get out.
Mm-hmm. Now, where's your phone? Like, how do you keep your phone from getting wet when you're doing that?
So I have a tripod that's perfect that I've found the place where I go. I put it in the sand so it's just at the right height, and then I just press record and I just have my hands above me.
Oh, because I thought you had a dog on a surfboard that was doing your camera work for you, like a golden retriever. I heard
Oh,
that they're really good on, like on a wakeboard, maybe.
that would
Uh,
be imagine having like a golden retriever taking like a 360-degree video around you. And
yeah.
that would be I would pay money to watch that happen live.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's cute.
It is cute. Yeah.
So, so I know you call it lake dip lessons, right?
Yes, I
So,
do.
what episode are you on, and where can people see these lake dip lessons?
I believe at the top of my head, I believe it's episode 5 will be the next one that's going to come out, maybe in the next few days. Maybe look tomorrow. We'll see. And they can find it on Instagram of Jackson Kurtz.
Yeah.
Jackson dot or underscore. I can't remember. But type in Jackson Kurtz. If you see a guy levitating in the profile picture, that's probably me.
Oh, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thought you were jumping on a trampoline.
No, I was levitating.
My bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to find a way to do something to stand out, so I learned to levitate in pictures.
Yeah.
Just
Because
in pictures.
I thought that levitating stuff was a bit of a scam.
Well, sometimes you just do it.
Like you pay money for it, you have to pay like several $1,000s to levitate, and then you find out you're not levitating, you're just sort of hopping, you
Le-
know?
Yeah.
Just doing that with your leg,
Yeah.
you
Just
know?
just boinging a little bit up and down.
Yeah, there's a great video on YouTube. It's some Tibetan monks showing some secret like boing, boing, and they do these crazy like getting mad air. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and then it's so cool. They're
wow.
doing breaths, and he's doing this kind of like popping and locking, crip walking, boogaloo shit. It's like gangster kind of West Coast Tibetan um, snowboarding. Shaka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gangster. That's very gangster.
Yeah. So tell me about the cold scene in Kelowna. All right,
It's
'cause out here in Victoria, everyone's at the beach, like, oh, look at me, I'm cold dipping,
mhm.
So like that in Kelowna too, or is everyone out there getting cold in the water? And
So the way it is there is a lot more people doing it now. It's funny, it goes in like cycles. Like people will do it for a little bit, then they won't. Then they'll kind of do it. But now recently, the way I would describe it is almost like there is like a bomb that was dropped in Kelowna and it's blowing up with a lot of like places where you can do cold dip. They have a place where you can go on the lake and you can cold dip, where you can be in like a floating sauna which is like a cool concept. They have another place that is like more in the forest area, and you can have like a nice area between the cold plunge and sauna. They have a one that's an indoor in a yoga studio. That's a nice one. And there's other places too that I don't really know about that people are doing it at. But the thing is people need to learn to discern between jumping in the lake versus an ice bath. You have people they're saying ice bath is easy, I can do it. Then they hop in a lake, then shit's going wild for them.
really,
Yeah, I had some people that I was dipping with, and they're like, I do ice baths every day. This is good. Then they put their foot in the lake, and they're like, whoa.
hmm.
So tell me, what's it like in Victoria as well? You said it seems like everyone and their dog is doing it, and maybe a few hamsters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, people are really into pets in Victoria, so they're bringing all their pets, guinea pigs, hamsters, ferrets. Man, we've even got parrots.
Wow.
Parrots. And so they're in there. And there's a place, I'm in Victoria, BC, Canada, on the West Coast, right? And we have Dallas Road, right? And then there's several beaches along there, staircases. There's a group called the Mile O Minnows because, as you know, from Terry Fox, our friend Terry the Fox, when he ran across the country with one leg, he started at mile zero, and we have a statue of Terry there. So, yeah, because that's where they start the Trans Canada Highway, right? Mile zero. So
Yes.
right at zero, there's a group called the Minnows, and they've been cold dipping there. They go most mornings. They hang out there all day and smoke weed, right? So it's that kind of crowd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also have a mushroom shop. So big up, shout out to Mile Zero Minnows. And one of their leaders, the cult leader, Kit, he's a great guy. His mom is making these real nice towel thingies with the hoods. It's kind of like a poncho
Oh.
thingy. It's like a house coat poncho. You know. So, and then you carry on along down the beach. You got the spiral staircase. You've got the original what they were I think way back in Victoria. One of the old mayors. They had this staircase. They were building this staircase near where the cruise ships come in on Ogden Point and the breakwater there. And they built this really nice staircase to go down to make a nice ocean pool area. They were going to barricade it off, kind of like infinity pool style, so that it was a place where you could go and swim in the ocean that was contained, right? And so the story goes, I think, is one of the mayors decided to cancel the project so that he could build a pond, a pond
Mm.
right near the ocean, so that he could have races with his little toy boats. I
Mm.
mean, it's the kind of a mayors we get in Victoria, right? Now we
Yeah.
got a ruining all the roads with bike lanes. And there's no like ambulances can't get through in an emergency. You got all these streets shut off. You can't, cars can barely get through. Anyways, don't get me started on that. I'm a cyclist. I love cycling, but roads are roads. It's making it even more harder for cyclists and cars to know who's going where. And, you cross the street, you got to cross two streets now. You got to cross the bike lanes, then you got to cross the other. I almost get hit by bikes all the time. Anyway, my point is the mayors in this city have made horrible decisions, and we don't have a nice little cold dipping pool in the ocean now. It got scrapped for this, and it's an eyesore. This thing. I mean, it's just all duck shit and people with their little remote control boats in there. Anyhow, enough of that. Move on down the way. We've got the cemetery, Ross Bay Cemetery. Now, there's a lot of celebrities, dignitaries, Freemasons, all kinds of people buried in the Ross Bay. I think Emily Carr's even there. Anyhow, uh, great history, but shit, we got a text coming in. Get out of here.
Hmm.
So, but by the cemetery, Ross Bay, it's the easiest place to just park and then hop over the little wall, and you just a couple of steps and you're in the water. Then you can run back to your car. So that's where everyone is going cold dipping. You can go by there anytime, any day. You'll see people out there having a nice cold bath, and yeah, it's quite a community now. But I notice it's no longer, like you don't feel special. Like,
Mm.
oh, look, because everyone's doing it, right? So it's good. I'm happy that everyone's doing it, but it's just funny how you can feel the normalcy of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So.
I didn't get down there today. I was too busy studying trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, for our other school project. So that gives you a little idea of the cold dipping scene in Victoria. And I got to give some big respect to the OGs. Now, when I say OGs, I'm talking about the old grannies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, at Willows Beach in Oak Bay. Uh, those old ladies have been in the ocean way before it was cool. Cold dipping, that is. I mean, these. I think Wim Hof even knows these old girls. He may have even dated some of them, but they go out there and they you know they swim, they go do laps around the whole Oak Bay. Yeah, so these ladies really they know what's up. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, in Willows Beach, apparently there's a E. coli, fecal coliform warning there because everything in Oak Bay is so damn old and they're so cheap. You know, all these, they think, oh, we're rich people in Oak Bay, but they're so damn cheap, they don't fix anything. So all their infrastructure's falling apart.
Oh, Peter, it seems your screen has froze. I can't quite hear you in the moment. We will come right back. Peter will be right back very soon. Be here to tell us about the Oak Bay infrastructure collapse.
Hello?
Hello, Peter, you're back.
I thought I was driving. It
Whoa.
just shut me off because it said safe driving mode.
Whoa. I didn't even know Zoom had that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think it was because I was talking shit about Oak Bay.
Oh, the people had to send a quick message real quick.
Yeah, they got worried, like, oh, he's driving, anyhow, they're driving me crazy, these Oak Bay people, because, they don't do fix it anyhow. So if you want to go, how Wim Hof does this thing where it gets injected with the E. coli.
Yes, I've heard that.
So if you want to do the real Wim Hof method, you go cold dipping at Willows Beach, drink some of the water, and then you kill that E. coli. And everyone's going, excuse me, did you know that the water has E. coli in it? And you're like, what? anyways, go have a cup of tea and a biscuit, right?
Yeah. You just Wim Hofing it out. They just don't understand. But you know who does understand? The OGs. They've been doing that for years.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
they go.
Peter, so you were talking a bit about your studying trauma. So tell us a little bit about what's going in on your breathwork mind right now. What's the topic of discussion? What's going through your head? What are you feeling? What are you going through? What's the big topic on the mind right now? Or what's the middle of your umbrella?
Middle of the umbrella. Well, that's the rod and the handle.
Oh, true. Oh, true. Yes, that's right.
So I'm trying to get a handle on my breathing, which is bringing up, breath work. It releases trauma, stored stuff, storage, releasing your stored trauma stuff. But now I'm facing pattern, this pattern that I have of wanting to get it right the first time, And so here we are, a year in to our breath work practice. I'm thinking I'm doing it right. No, no, no. No, guess what? I got to start over, right? Got to start all over again because I've been, oh, yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I got it. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm hearing one thing, and this is another part about being an artist, is that I hear an instruction and my interpretation of it is different because I run it through this creative lens. So, and I run it through the lens of our nervous system, right? My nervous system. And that has developed this trauma response of, thinking that everything I do it wrong, right? So even though my initial response is, yeah, I heard what you said. My diaphragm's going down in my pelvic floor. My ribs are expanding. My chest is expanding. I'm doing what you say. No, you're not, he says, our teacher. And so that's brought up this old story that I have of every time I think I'm doing it right, my dad would say, no, Peter, you're not. And so there's where this pattern, this old trauma pattern I have response of like I get frustrated and then I say, screw it. I don't need you. I'm doing it my own way. And I've gone, and that's also what the Skuzzabot is. It's being so damn stubborn that because I just feel that I can't do what you're telling me, but I think I'm doing what you're telling me. I get so frustrated at the so that's where I'm at with my breath practice, and I've just had to let go. I've had to I use the comparison of a painting. I think this painting is really good. I'm doing a portrait of Jackson. God, it's Jackson. Someone comes along and goes, who's that? Is that Michael Jackson? It's young Jackson. Why?
Yes.
So I've had to paint over the canvas, start it over, right? And it's so humbling because first of all, I want to do really, really engage with my breath and really charge up because I like getting high. I like to do woo. And so, now that I've had to just let go and surrender and just receive the breath, I'm not going on as big of a trip. But with that being said, if I can relearn to breathe, doing the breath journey, super ventilations and breath of surrender with more of a gentle, not trying, not forcing kind of a way, I think the high that I will get will be much more of a soothing, blissful experience rather than a stimulating, like party time kind of, like seeing I love seeing visions. I love the geometric patterns. I love really, really going for it. But I think yeah. So I've talked enough about where my breathing is at. Why don't you tell me about how you're doing with the, super ventilations and breath of surrender?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I 100% get you when you're saying you had that canvas and then you just got to paint it all over again. I realized something, when I say it out loud, it sounds funny, but I realized that when you do like super ventilations or breath of surrender, that when you're done, you're not supposed to be hurting in your collarbones and shoulders and your neck. I just thought that afterwards, when you were done, you were just sore and you're like, okay, gotta stretch, like got this experience, this magical, like whimsical experience, but I just got to deal with this. And I was like, okay, like whatever. But that also created such a resistance for me to do it. I would have them once in a while, but to commit to that was something that was something that I found was difficult because I was like, every time after I do this, it's pain. And then I was humbled when I found out my breathing mechanics were very out of whack. And then taking the cues and learning like where to breathe, like say the cues I use when I've been doing it is breathing into the pelvic floor, breathing to the lower back, then getting the ribs to expand, then breathing into the upper back, and then breathing into the heart space and expanding there, but trying not to engage your neck muscles and your
Yeah,
trap muscles. So that has been very, very different. But you know what I'm finding? I'm finding that it's like you're talking about with that more gentle experience. I used to think I was talking with our teacher, and I was talking how when we go into that, I felt like I wasn't going into it very far. It felt like I was staying more on the surface level because I wasn't breathing as hard, but I was more engaged on my mechanics. But I'm also noticing, even when I'm more engaged on my mechanics, like what can come up and how it can feel different, and like where I'll notice things more in my body, and how bringing the awareness has been a great thing. I've really been experimenting with breath of surrender lately. That has been a practice I'm committing like the next probably 3 more weeks, and then I'll go back to super ventilations for a little bit, or go between the two, to really dial this one in more and really bring awareness to that. I also noticed that I had a breathing tendency is when I breathe in, like especially into my heart space, my jaw would move and I go like, or like in the super ventilations, I would breathe down, and then the last part I go, and I'd always draw my jaw, and I was completely unaware of it for months until I recorded myself, and I was like, oh, what am I doing?
Mm.
So now it's been going. It's like, well, how do I breathe without doing that?
Mm.
Or how do
Mm.
I change up my breath with the more relaxed jaw, but still bringing in a volume of air that will that will be sufficient for what I'm wanting. So that was very interesting. And then on my mind as well has been functional breathing. I have to present on this Wednesday. And so I've been going through what do I want the plan to look like? How do I want to structure this journey? What type of journey do I want to take on? What type of car do I want you to drive? What type of highway do I want you to go on? What do I want you to see out the windows? What do I want you to feel inside the car? Where do I want you to go? And figuring out what car is best for you with which breathing technique, and
Mm.
learning how I want that to look, and how my vision is, how I want that vision to play out in real time. So that's what I've been playing with.
All right. So if your breath was a car, what would you be driving? Are
Right,
you
like
breathing
my breath right now.
like a Tesla or a Buick? I'm breathing like a Buick, like a big old
Mm.
Chrysler, a big old boxy boat, kind of like, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
got floppy breath, right? Are you more of are you a hybrid breather, right? Are you a Toyota? Can yeah, maybe are you an OJ Simpson? What is it? What does he drive?
I
The the
don't.
B- the
Buick.
no
I don't.
Bronco.
For me now, I would say I'm probably like a mid-sized sedan, maybe like a bigger Dodge Dart, where it's not efficient. It's not like that efficient, like going down the road like a Tesla, but it's going and it's got some power.
Well, I think you're more of a Honda.
A Honda, like a Civic.
Yes, you're a Civic. You're a yeah,
Okay,
boy
okay.
racer,
The pardon?
You know the boy racer guys that race
Oh,
around. You know those guys?
I can't remember at the top of my head. If I saw it, I'd probably know though.
Okay, well, there's like a scene of dudes that soup up their Honda Civics and put those little sound effects on them that go.
Yeah, especially with the accelerating. That
Yeah,
that's when it really kicks in.
what your mouth's doing. It's because you got your Civic is all souped up.
I added nitrous.
Yeah, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. You just got to start humming, and then that nitrous oxide will just start building up and up and up.
Now you said nitrous oxide.
Ah, instead of nitric.
There you go.
Ah, okay.
That's right.
Perfect.
No, but
Perfect.
yeah, it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Peter, I think we should talk about a little how we met.
Hmm.
The first time, the when we I guess how we met in the Breathwork Blueprint, and then how we met in person too.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a cool time. Well,
Yeah.
I remember during the Breathwork Blueprint, I always remember how when you would talk, every time that someone would talk after, they'd always be like, how do I top that? because you had this way of just expressing and bringing your idea to life and just explaining it, and other people are like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because I talk to myself a lot, you know? So it's just an extension of me by myself, stream of consciousness talking. And, sometimes they're better than others. I tend to overshare, is one problem with that. But I do love to talk, and being alone a lot. When I finally get a captive audience, it's like, yeah. But thank you for saying that, man. I love those chats. We're quite good, and I was in the middle of releasing so much, transforming so much. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's even amazing to hear like the difference, say, between then and now, and then even seeing like what that release can look like and like how you can take it. Or for instance, when some ideas get brought up to you and you really take them and you work on them and seeing how that goes in your life and seeing how when you play with them where it can go.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, bud. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's been fun watching you grow too. Like actually, literally grow. You
Yeah.
show like Stranger Things, and then several seasons later, the characters are like grown up kids. And you're like, I remember when. So that's kind of like what watching you growing up in front of us here. Yeah, yeah. And now that you've returned from Peru, being an experienced man, there's a definite change I can see. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know how to put it into words. I would say, actually, if I was to say one word, I would probably say authenticity. What
Hmm.
if you were what if you were to put a word to it, or if you were to put a color to it, what color would it be? Or what word would you use?
I'd say indigo.
Indigo. That's a purplish color, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Mm.
bluey, purple and blue, kind of like dark blue with a little dash of dusk, like a dusky blue. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's just my favorite color. I just wanted to say my favorite color.
Thank you, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thank
man.
you. But that was pretty good. It's great to see that how we've both been able to grow and see how experiences have been able to shape us and grow us where we've been able to learn from them. And I remember the first time I met you. The first time we met in person. I think you were on top of your van at the time. You're on top of your van. Go van life. Woo! Anyway, and pardon?
Hashtag van life, right?
Hashtag van life, yes. And I remember you were unloading your art and we just talked and I helped you unload your art and you showed me your art and it was just cool. Just cool to hear your experience and just hear your perspective. And that,
Yeah.
man, that was a much different state back then for the both of us. Well, for the
Oh,
both of us.
yeah, so you were dressed up like a server with all black button-up shirt and your slacks, your black trousers, your chinos or whatever, and you were getting ready to go. You bartend, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I remember telling you. I think I said like, this isn't you.
Well, I remember specifically at the retreat. So you actually said a quote to me that changed the trajectory of my like working life too. You said, because I was bartending and I don't drink at all. I haven't drank alcohol for 5 years. And you said, are you like, so you're working with the light, yet you're serving the poison.
Mm,
And you said that, and I was like, I
mm.
am. I was like, and then that made me think, and then that inspired a quitting of the job right after the breathwork retreat. It wasn't solely from that, but that was a big inspiration.
Yes, great. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got to be careful what I say to you. You think, yeah,
Yeah. So that was a fun time. I remember when you met as well. You were in your hashtag van life apparel. You were in your tank top, you were in your jeans. You were getting ready to do some art to put it out to just you were downtown by the beach, and you were just ready to just. You set up your tent that day, and you put on like an exhibit there, correct?
Yes. Well, I had just gotten into Kelowna, and I expected everyone to just come on down, Pete's in town. So I set my canopy studio tent, and with my solar panel, I got the sewing machine out, and I was working on a oak tree tapestry. I was sewing, and so I was playing music and cranking my tunes. I had my big my PA speakers, and that was the idea, was to go all summer setting up my studio in parks and having all my artwork on display and just attracting a crowd of people. Well, I talked to two old ladies and one firefighter. that was the crowd. Um, and then I got too busy with the breathwork stuff because that was right before we started the blueprint or the Lightforce. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but that was a good day, except for I left my big red ball in the field. My big red exercise ball.
Hmm.
Yeah, left. It was my mom's, so it was a family heirloom, that ball. Oh well,
Hmm.
what are you gonna do?
Now someone's balling it up with the red exercise ball.
Yeah, a red ball bounces on. It was very symbolic. It almost felt like a heart, the
Hmm.
red inflated full of air that bounces, that I carried with me. You know, and then the moment before we started learning taking this journey, that the Lightforce, which is leadership, facilitation, and it goes deep. And it's almost like that ball was a piece of something I needed to let go. Sort of an umbilical attachment to it. So then I went to Value Village and I got another red ball for $6.99.
Was it a red exercise ball?
Yeah. And
Whoa.
what happened to that ball?
Let's hear it.
The next time I went to a park in Victoria, Crystal Pool Field, these two little girls, tiny little girls, they were like smaller than the ball. They came up and said, "Can we play with this ball?" And what are you going to say to two little girls? No, you can't. It's my ball. Like, get out of here, old man. So I said, sure, yeah. They kicked the ball, like pushed it, never saw it again. Off it went.
Mm.
So you see, there's
Yeah.
something going on here. It's like, no, no, no. That ball belongs to my childhood, my past. It belongs with mommy. And so what color of ball am I going to get now, Jackson? A blue ball?
I was thinking like a green one, maybe like a lime green one. Or you know what? What if you get like what if you get like one of those like foam rollers? But maybe
Well, I
one
need
that has spikes on it too.
to sit on it though. It was my chair.
Oh. You know what? You know what you could get? Oh, do you want another ball or would you like it's an actual chair?
No, I like the ball, sitting on the
Like the
ball.
ball.
Yeah,
Hmm.
a green ball.
A green
Yeah.
ball could be nice. A nice like
Mhm.
yeah, a nice green ball.
When I was in Montreal, I found a yellow ball.
Oh, how'd you tell us a story of acquiring the yellow ball.
Well, I'd love to, but I was drunk and I don't remember. I woke up and there was a big yellow ball in my bedroom. I wish there was a big yellow something else in my room. You wake up, but never mind. But it's a fun way to wake up for a moment, but then you realize. But those days are over. In March. I'll have a year off the booze, and I should mention, I don't like when people commandeer a conversation or take it over with sobriety talk, but that is what got me into the world of breath work, and it is the only thing that has kept me sober. And it's not even about keeping me sober. It's it's not even an issue. It's not, it's like, it's a brand new life, the breath. So, so yeah, man, it feels good. And it really does work, you know.
The
Hmm.
breath is potent. The
Yeah.
breath is potent medicine.
Hmm. Hmm. And it is spirit, right? And
Hmm.
a good old buddy Carl Jung would say that, the alcohol spirit was a spirit that comes in and replaces someone's spirit when they start suffering from alcoholism. It's because their spirit is broken, and that spirit of alcohol comes in and takes the place of someone's spirit.
Mm.
So I really like, I'd love to spend more time studying Jung. Have you studied much Carl Jung?
Not really. I've dipped my toes in a little bit. I took a university psychology course and they talked about Jung and a little bit about him. I it's not enough to right now where I'd be able to really talk about stuff that I know from him, but I know of him and I've seen quotes from him a lot, but none stand out in my mind right now.
Mm. Yeah. Um, I know a lot of our teacher talks a lot about stuff that comes from Jung, I think. But something just popped into my head. The book that we're reading right now, Undreaming Watiko. How are you enjoying that book?
It's been very good, I'll admit. I'm not super far in it yet. I'm about half an hour in. I listened to it. I did a cold hike and I put on Dreaming Boutique in as I was climbing up the mountain. And it was very interesting. But I don't know a lot about it yet. And especially from the what the first few chapters indicated. I don't want to just say, "Oh, I know Watiko," after half an hour's. "Oh, I know Watiko," like easy. Because by doing that is blocking Watiko and exactly what Watiko wants.
Oh, is it? You see, you do know. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I'm getting ready to start diving in, or to use a cold dip explanation. I'm about like toes in, feet in. I just felt the cold shock, and now I'm ready to fully submerge as we go deeper and deeper in the book. How is it going for you?
Oh my goodness. I love it, man. My friends like to laugh at me because when I find something that I really love, I just I'm very extreme and impulsive. Like when I read the Breath book by James Nestor for the first time, I bought 10 copies, gave it to everyone I could, and just was, what's Pete found now? Like, what's Pete's new thing he's obsessed with now? So this book, by Paul Levy, Undreaming Watiko, is I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of copies and give it to close friends and family.
Hmm.
That's inspired my artwork, just like the James Nestor book did. And that's how much I love it because, you know, you go through life, I go through life, and I have all these thoughts. And I think, I wonder if anyone else has ever had that thought. Am I onto something or am I just completely mad? And then you read the exact thought and you go, aha, that is something to what I was wrestling with. So there's a lot of those moments in this book for me,
Hmm. Wow.
and it's helping me to love all the bad things that I've done in my life, and to be so grateful for all the hell that I've caused in my life. And even though it hurts to see those around me suffering because of the choices I've made, it's allowing me to finally have gratitude. I hear all these wellness people say, "Oh, I'm just so glad about everything I've did in my life bringing me to this exact moment." I've always thought, well, yeah, but what if we didn't make all those mistakes? Would be somewhere much better. So why are you grateful for being making mistakes? But now I'm seeing this book I'm such a, language person. I'm such an image person that I need it to be said right. I need it to be portrayed just right for me to really accept it, you know? And so this book has really finally been like, I can say, yes, you know, the person in my life that I wish I'd never met, I can say, I'm so glad I met her. 100%. Best teacher in my life. If, you know? So, yeah, that's how much I love that book, man. Love it.
Wow. And it says
Yeah.
something about even how you said about if when it's articulated just right and you can finally grasp it, how much wonders it can really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe that's a good thing about there being so many wellness books and so many people on Instagram posting and sharing about this how to do this and that. And you're like, oh my God, another one. But we all have to hear things in just the right way. So maybe the more people there are sharing this message, the more people that need to hear it in just the right way. It'll give them more of an opportunity to hear it just the right way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think I think that's such an important thing. And one last thing I want to branch off of is when you talk about how something can be articulated just right. I know an experience that we've talked before is when we first got into breath work, how just the actual thought of thinking about our breath made us feel insane. Like being just thinking about your breath for the first time, be like, what do I do? Like, I'm just breathing in. Like, I remember when I went through cycles where I thought about it for like months, then I wouldn't because I tried numbing that. And I just thought I was absolutely insane. But and I know you've touched on similar thought patterns. And now we're out there in the world telling people to breathe and to think about their breathing and like bring conscious thought of how you go about it and just
Mhm.
how it affects you. It's crazy how when something can be articulated just right or by the right person or in the right way, how it can just do so much wonders.
Mhm. Yes. Hmm. Yeah, and I'm seeing that with people that I've been sharing this breath stuff with is they go, yeah, that's enough. I can't, I don't want to think about it. It's bringing stuff up. So that's that's neat to see them go through that process too, and to be able to say, I get it, just a little, just once a day, just think about your breathing for a few minutes and just increase it slowly. It doesn't have to be all of a sudden you're conscious of your breath all day long and you can't it's like having another conversation in your head, like another person, this new relationship there, and oh God, I've got enough going on now. I got to think about my breathing, like so. It says a lot about our culture, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Eh?
it
Yeah.
does. And even it says a lot about when you are able to get to that and when you're able to like look at it from a different perspective and like be able to use tools in a supportive manner, how it can do such the difference. Like it's funny when I can think about personally, there was one moment that made me think about manual breathing for like the first time. And I don't know how I was much younger Jackson. I was probably like 12-year-old Jackson. And I saw a meme on the computer and it was it was like a green and white crazy background. And it was a picture of a frog. And it said, ha, now you're thinking about manual breathing with exclamation mark. And I was like, fuck, I'm thinking about manual breathing. And I was like, what do I do? And I was like, I can't stop thinking about this. But now I'm just like, oh, when I'm thinking about breathing, I just think about breathing to my diaphragm, my lower back, my ribs, my upper back, my chest, and just and or like receiving the breath. Because there's so many ways you can think about the breath. It's not just manual breathing. It's
Mm-hmm.
all the different dimensions of where it can go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still overthinking. That's our teachers told me that there's a lot of overthinking going on. Yeah. So that really sums up where I'm at, learning not to think. while I breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah. Well, do you have anything you want to touch on before we close out this episode, Peter? This has been a beautiful chat. I'm very grateful that we've been able to connect today.
Me too. How long we been chatting for?
About an hour.
An hour? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7:06, so we've been
Yeah.
going pretty much an hour.
Okay. All righty. What else is on your list there?
I haven't checked on it in a long time. I turned my phone off and I kind of just went to freestyling. Ooh.
Hi guys. Wow. What's
Let's
going
talk about let's talk about I think let's talk about the left ladder, choosing the left ladder of life. So, do you want to provide background on it? Do you want me to talk about it?
on? All you?
Sure. So correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, was it the destroyer archetype or the lover archetype?
Destroyer.
Yes. So with the
Lo-
destroyer
Lover.
lover?
Lover.
Okay, yes. Okay. That's what I thought initially. So to bring some background, there's a book that we are reading in our breathwork course called Awakening the Heroes Within by Carol S. Pearson. Not to be mistaken to Awakening the Hero Within. It's Awakening the Heroes Within. Those are two different books. Anyway, we're learning about the different archetypes and we're learning about the lover archetype. And one of the things it talks about is the left ladder and the right ladder of life and choosing which ladder you're going to go on. A lot of us in life, we think of life at a very logical perspective. We think of what do we need to do to be well off, or what do we need to do to be successful, or to most please the people around us. And that's like, okay, I need to say make money to get a relationship or like get a house or like there's things that could be for anybody. And that's fall and like that logical thought pattern that you just feel like you need to do is the right ladder. You're following the right ladder. You're like, this is what I should do. This is what society wants, people, and you're following that. You're like very logical. But what do you really want? What does your heart want? What do you really want to do at your core? What do you want to share with the world? What would that thing for you to do that would make you feel the most alive, the most living? What would that be? And that would also do those, if that it can also be for the other things, but it's really what makes you most in love with life. I believe it is also connecting with Eros, which is talking about with love and going and just really connecting with that and allowing yourself to be a full expression of that and not holding that back. And so allowing yourself to climb that left ladder. Like for a lot of people, for probably people in Peter's and I's life, breath work is not a typical thing that a lot of people study, at least not yet. It's becoming more popular. So going with breath work could be following the left ladder of life, because this is what really makes us passionate. This is what really lights us up. This is what we're really wanting to do. Cold dipping could also be a left ladder, but sometimes it's turning to the right ladder for people because like I gotta do it to be healthy and I gotta do it like so that it could be slowly turning to there, but making it a left ladder for you. Or what is that thing that really makes you feel good about it? Maybe you like art, like, and art can be a broad term that describes many different modalities. But maybe there's something you really want to do, a career, a hobby, a passion. Maybe there's a person that you want to talk to in a relationship and allowing that full expression to come through.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my interpretation of following the left ladder, at least, and how I'm feeling about it. What about you, Peter?
Yes. Well, have you ever painted houses?
I have.
I hope it wasn't college pro.
I I I did it. What does college pro mean? Like a company?
It's when college kids that don't know how to paint go door to door and convince housewives to let them paint their house and they make a mess of it. But never mind.
It wasn't
Uh,
college pro. I'll give you that relief.
okay, good. So you're up on the ladder, and if the angle, let's say you're in between two houses, and your angle is too tight, right? You're a little, and your ladder will come off the wall a bit. Have you ever experienced that, being on a ladder and it wavering off the wall?
I've experienced that with having it against an apple tree.
Oh, okay.
That's a
Sure.
different, yeah, but I know, yes.
So it's scary. It's precarious. I've fallen off several ladders. I've broken ribs. One time I fell into a gigantic dough mixing bowl at a bakery because I was painting this bakery and the floor was slippery. And I ended up in the bowl like a ball of dough. But I wasn't so soft. I had some hard ribs and they snapped. So I actually have when I'm breathing, I can feel where that injury is. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that my experience climbing the left ladder, following my bliss, following Eros, has been so an imbalanced ladder because I have not had the strong enough ego, which is the right ladder, sort of, I think, or like the, structure, confidence, will. It's just been all heart, just all complete, like a mushy romantic movie. There hasn't been that proper structure of the ladder as I climb towards my bliss. And I've wavered and I've fallen off that ladder, and my gee, it hurt. It hurt. So I'm still climbing. I get back up, up I go again. And do I learn? Sometimes. But I'm a slow learner. And I've had many times in my life where I've said, you know what, this left ladder stuff, hell with that. I'm gonna get a boom lift or a cherry picker and go easy, right? Regular job. Don't follow my heart. Put my paintings away. You know how many times I've given away all my paintings and like all my stuff? Oh, Pete's doing it again. Oh, I hate it when he does that, man. So it's been torture. My ladder's been flip-flopping my whole damn life. But do you, do you think I'm going to stop? it, it's like Cirque du Soleil over here with Pete on the ladder doing these circus tricks. So it's become beautiful. It's a beautiful mess. And I keep climbing and slowly, no, there's no work safe here. No insurance, right? So it's just been an imbalance of that healthy ego, self-confidence with that just blind passion. So, and then that we can really tie that back with the whole Pete. Can I just give you some constructive criticism? No, I know what I'm doing. Ooh, there he goes, falling off the ladder again. It's like Jack and Jill went up the hill, fetch a pail of water or something. My bucket's full in it, right?
Yes.
I go out on tangents, and I don't know if it's going to make sense. I don't think that one made any sense.
Well, I mean it goes exactly what you were talking about. Sometimes you want to take that healthy confidence with that raw passion, and sometimes the tangents work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they fall, sometimes they prosper.
And if you've got a hole in the bucket, you can keep filling it with all the bliss and eros you want. But if that bucket, that container is not solid, it's just going to keep pouring out, and it never gets full enough to make me feel like I've accomplished and got where I want to be. I just keep letting it fall out my ass. So that's where I was going with that. But I keep looking at your garbage can in the back there. I remember in the breathwork blueprint, I was always like, that blue garbage can over there, it's a real centerpiece.
You want
Yeah.
to know what it is? It's actually my clothes hamper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you see the blue and like black things on top? That's my socks from today. They got pretty wet when I dipped. I was in some slushy.
My goodness.
Yeah. It's pretty like I don't know, it's something to look at.
What are you wearing?
It's got that nice white pattern.
Yeah. I don't know why you're bothering with socks. Ever since I started cold bathing, I don't even wear socks. But
Oh, I don't either. The when I had socks on is when because it's cool. So with the dip that we've went, I've been able to use a saunas. After you dip, people can go in the saunas, and it encourages more people to come out. However, I have to put them in my car, and I have to fit all them in my car. I have to, but then it was really slushy out today, so I was putting them back in my car in about probably like 2-3 inches of water.
mm,
So
mm.
my shoes and socks got kind of wet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, all my socks are in the car because, I take off my clothes at the ocean and I throw them all in the car, go to the pool, have a sauna there. And then when I get home, I don't bring all my clothes in. So my whole closet is migrated to the car and I just leave it there, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like I can't be bothered, I'm a busy man,
yeah,
I gotta breathe, right? I'm
yeah,
too busy today.
yeah. That's all there is to do.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's all there is to do is just be busy breathing.
That's right. I mean, it's a lot of different ways to breathe.
You can spend a whole lifetime or more on it.
It looks like we're going that route.
It looks like we are.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up, Peter? Anything else that's on your mind? Anything you want to share or talk about?
Mm, there always is, but I'm feeling a natural close coming to this episode. Eh? Oh, so are we going to call it uh, the power of peacocks or
Okay,
something?
I was thinking about that. Yes, because I think it was the power of peacocks.
Yeah.
Or we could call it. It could be like, what's a breath term that has a P in it?
Um,
Oh boy.
hmm.
Oh, Peacock Pranayama.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings me to one more thing about the Wetiko, the wounded healer. I hope this isn't spoiling it for you because you probably haven't read this part yet. But apparently, the peacock's feathers get even more brighter. The plumage, the colors on the feathers get more brighter when it eats poison or
Hmm.
something. And it was an analogy of how those things in us that have hurt us, like those bad things that we've experienced, those unhealthy things, have that potential to bring out beauty in us. And I think then he kind of got into talking about the wounded healer, about um, always containing and holding the dark thing that is hurting us, like never fully being cured, but just holding that sickness and transmuting it somehow, or
Hmm.
so I need to read more on that. But anyway, let's end it before I really dig myself into a hole, shall we?
Awesome. Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds good. So, is it Peacock Pranayama?
Let's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And if anyone, and you know what? a little spoiler. That's gonna be on Wednesday. I'm gonna title the breath thing. I'm gonna say today you're all going to go on Peacock Pranayama, functional breathing edition.
Yeah. Let's
I
do it.
think
Peacock Pranayama. Do it.
Peacock Pranayama. Sure.
I'm down.
Okay. I like that.
Okay, should we close out the get your peacock feathers, you?
Get the peacock. That's how we're gonna start and end in every episode.
Yeah. Where are they? Peacock power. Let's go.
Peacock
Oh,
power. Woo. Oh. Woo.
all right. Cool.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. This is Peacock Pranayama with Jackson and Peter. We're signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.